Hey guys, wanted to take a quick minute to go over some Coyote timing accessories, timing chains, lockouts, gears, tensioners, and differences between the generations. This right here is a factory Gen 2 primary chain. There's really not a whole lot to it. They're strong to a point, but obviously these things exceed their limit. The gear, which I don't have here, is a common failure point, so we always change out the crank gear to make it stronger, because the factory ones are just brittle. This little thing right here, this is the secondary chain. This is the chain that runs between the cams. And in a stock application, that's okay. Even a little bit over stock, they're fine. Once you start adding a bunch of spring pressure and you start adding high RPMs and bouncing the thing off the rev limiter and doing all the stupid shit that we all do, this becomes a failure point. This is also the factory primary tensioner. It's better than some of the plastic ones of the past, but it's still just a cast aluminum body, thin mounting points, nothing spectacular, but factory application works. This right here is a factory tensioner, and Ford has missed this, and I don't understand why they've missed this on the 4654 and the Coyote. They tension one side of the motor on the wrong side. So if the slack side is on the bottom, they're tensioning it on the top, okay, on the tension side, which is wrong. You should always tension the slack side. So let's move up to what we upgrade. This here, this is a Gen 1 primary chain. It's the factory Ford Gen 1 primary chain. See the difference? It's a huge difference in design and strength. Okay, these Gen 1 timing chains, primary chains, are very, very strong, robust, reliable. So when we're making a change, even with maybe having a Gen 2 motor or whatever, if you're going with lockouts, you can get lockouts like these from RGR. Okay, these are made, this lockout center section here is made for Gen 2 cams, but it has Gen 1 primary gear teeth on it. Okay, so now we can switch from the weak Gen 2 primary chain to the stronger Gen 1 chain, and we obviously change out the crank gear from a Gen 2 to a Gen 1, and now we've got a stronger component. This is what a lot of people call a 3-2-1, which is a Gen 3 short block, Gen 2 heads without the direct injection, and Gen 1 timing components. Okay, and we've gone a step further. That's a Boss primary tensioner. It's cast steel, much thicker, much stronger, much robust. Has a ratcheting mechanism which we can modify, so that way if it comes out too far, it can go back in some and not stay latched out if you have too much tension on a chain, like in a high rev burnout or anything like that. Also, this is from RGR. I got all this stuff from Modular Head Shop. It's a flip tensioner. Okay, it's tensioned on the right side, and it's also much beefier. I mean, it's hard to hold the phone and stand this stuff up, but look at that. Okay, this is better stuff. It's not cheap. Don't get me wrong, it's not cheap. But if you're building a high horsepower Coyote or something that you're gonna rev the piss out of and bounce it off the rev limiter off with boost on it, or have crazy cams with high spring pressures or anything like that, this is something you might want to consider. Now here's the fun part. This right here, like I said, the very weak factory Gen 2 secondary chain. Now you get this RGR kit. This has the 4654 Iowa style chain in it. Look at that monster compared to that. This thing right here is about as gangster as you're gonna get. Still probably change it every couple of years if you're building serious horsepower. But man, there's nothing worse than making a high RPM, high boost pull, or you know, bouncing off the two-step on 20 pounds of boost to leave, and the secondary change snaps, and all your valves become best friends with the pistons and shove them up through the head and everything else. So this is a good stuff. And like I said, I got all this stuff from Modular Head Shop. Jordan and Thomas over there, they really put this kit together for me so that I had the best stuff that I can have. Even if I'm not making 2,000 or 2,200 horsepower, this thing's going to be stupid reliable. And obviously with these lockouts, sky's the limit as far as cam changes, cam degree changes, or degreeing the cams in. It's not like the 4654s where you're filing a bunch of keys and changing a bunch of stuff around to try to move the cams and holding tension on one side to lock everything down. This stuff bolts on and then it rotates, and you can set the cams right where you want them. You want to change the center lines quickly. I'm not going to say it's stupid quick, but it's a hell of a lot quicker than doing it with a 4654. So if you guys are in the market to upgrade some chains, timing sets, tensioners, lockouts, all that other stuff, give Thomas a call, give me a call. I can get you hooked up through them, get you whatever you need. I'm not here promoting, I don't make any money on this stuff, so I just want you guys to have the best stuff you can have.